Remember that the David Pakman Show is dependent on folks who decide to get memberships on my website. You can sign up at joinpakman.com. We do an extra show every day for our members. We also offer commercial-free audio and video streams of the show for our members. And when we do viewer town halls like we did a few weeks ago, members get a separate priority line to talk to me. And lots of other great little perks. So sign up at joinpakman.com. You can use the new coupon code WOW22 to get a significant discount at joinpakman.com. Let's look at some interesting posts from this morning on the David Pakman Show subreddit. The David Pakman Show subreddit can be found at davidpakman.com/REDDIT. More than 33,000 of our viewers and listeners have subscribed there. First post is concerns over right-wing friends. This is an interesting topic. User @man writes, "Hey everyone, as the title implies, I have a bit of a serious issue. Growing up, I had a conservative phase. I was only like 16 and was pulled in by the 2016 wave of conservatism on YouTube and social media. I ended up making some friends at this time with similar interests. We were pretty much your standard, I'm a classical liberal type, watched Ben Shapiro debates, maybe some Paul Joseph Watson, a lot of Steven Crowder. Over time, I drifted away and became a lot more liberal. These friends, however, did the opposite. They're extremely right-wing. They think COVID is a left-wing power grab, which is annoying, considering I've worked on a COVID unit since April and see it firsthand. Trump actually won the election. Armed insurrection is justified. And I fear they're even beginning to dabble in white nationalism. Our talks have become noticeably more tense. All they do is post guns on their Instagrams and spam their stories with far-right propaganda. Is there any hope of helping them? Should I just cut them off? If I was able to drift liberal, could I manage to help them as well? I appreciate the advice." I mean, listen, this is I get calls like this all the time from people. This is a really personal thing. I don't think there's any issue with having friends with diverse political opinions. I have friends with diverse political opinions that include, kind of casual center-right Republicans, mostly focused on tax and regulation issues, people who are sort of outside of the traditional political space, but are just culturally very liberal or conservative. But I don't have any friends that are outrageous MAGA lunatics and white nationalists and all these different things, because that is so at odds with what I believe. Those views often rife with anti-Semitism and xenophobia and all these things. There's no way for me to put that aside and just talk about yesterday's basketball game. There's a sort of line, and that line is different for everybody. The question about bringing them to the left, that's a different question altogether. And it really comes down to, how much work are you willing to put in? When we talk about deprogramming and de-radicalizing people, we're talking about something that can take months of concerted effort, if not longer. As I've said before, I think the least confrontational way to approach this is to just regularly ask basic probing questions about, how did you come to believe that? How did you come to believe that? Kind of a soft Socratic method of questioning. But it's a very personal thing, what you are willing to sort of endure in terms of getting to that point of having a shot at disabusing them of these beliefs. But let us know how it goes. Another post I spotted, user Philo posted an article about Turning Point USA, building the next generation of conservative influencers, influencer first, conservative second. I have talked for years about how the right is willing to lose money on individual projects, like throwing tons of cash at these organizations that program young right-wingers to go out and spread the message, so to speak, because they see it as a bigger investment in the longer term. The right has a lot of views, including on abortion, gay marriage, taxes, healthcare, where if you just ask questions in an unbiased way, you see that the country continues to move to the left, to the left, to the left. But what is the right doing to continue winning elections and controlling the narrative? They are just dumping cash into training up advocates for their perspectives right out of college. And we on the left should be very worried about it. I have conversations all the time with wealthy-ish and very wealthy center-left people and actual progressives as well. And they say, how can I deploy my resources? And I say, if you really want to make a difference, you've got to fund left-wing media and create organizations equivalent to what the right has to get people to become advocates when they come out of college, because the right has the ground game figured out. And they'll sometimes say, well, what about George Soros? Often is what's mentioned. Soros is operating on a very different level. Soros is not doing what the right is doing with groups like Turning Point USA and others. So without a doubt, if the left really wants to control that space and actually work to make the country's public political orientation match that of what people are privately saying are their views. Because remember, our elected officials are way to the right of where the country is. We've got to fight them the way that they fight, which is dumping a ton of cash into these organizations. Turning Point USA, it's a vile organization, but they are doing exactly what the left fails to do. Last post was, and I got a ton of these. Anybody know what's up with the subscriber feed on the website? I thought David was on vacation and I wasn't paying attention, but there are new segments on YouTube and I'm not finding the content on the website. It is 2022. So you must, a message to all members with peace and love, you have to go to Member Content 2022 to find this year's shows. 2021 is over. I know a lot of people miss this, but the content is there. We are back. Join the discussion at davidpakman.com/Reddit.